In this episode of Dolce Vita, enjoy an eye-opening experience at an auction house event. Delve into a living style that takes you away from the urban hustle. Savor culinary favorites inherited from the Edo period. And appreciate the art of bespoke tailoring through history.
Some say shopping is an art, and if that's true, it'll definitely take a lot of time to hone the skills required to become a savvy shopper.
Being savvy means getting out there and doing some exploring. Are you ready for an elevated buying experience? Because if you are, you're in for a treat today. Hi, Belinda, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. I want to ask you, when it comes to buying jewelry at auction, what are some general tips you can give us?
I would say the most common thing that people tend to forget when they're buying from an auction house is that we have something called a buyer's premium. So when you attend an auction and you hear the auctioneer say, "Congratulations, the bid is yours," or "I'm selling," that is actually just the hammer price. We then charge an additional cost of a buyer's premium.
Are there jewelry pieces that are only available at auction?
I wouldn't say anything is exclusively available at auction, but let me ask you this. Would you buy royal jewels from an auction house or a typical jewelry store?
Probably can't find it at a jewelry store.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there some jewelry pieces you'd like to show us?
Yes, please, let's go ahead and take a look at our preview.
Coming to an auction house, I'd say most of us are on the hunt for something rare. And speaking of rarity, did you know that emeralds are considered one of the rarest gemstones? Perfect, Belinda. Can you tell us more about emeralds? How do I determine a good quality piece of emerald?
Well, for emeralds, or any other colored gemstone for that matter, we have color, clarity, and origin. So for emeralds, you want something that has a dark green saturation. So let's say for the emerald in this brooch, for example, you can see that it has a strong green saturation, but not too strong or dark that it loses its brilliance, or what we call fire. Emeralds can be found in quite a lot of countries, like Brazil, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Zambia. But the most beautiful and sought-after stones are from Colombia.
So speaking of sought-after gemstones, we can't leave out Jadeites, right? Because we're in Asia.
Yeah, let me take you over there.
So how do we choose the best quality Jadeite?
Well, unlike other colored gemstones, Jadeite is not valued by its size, but by its color, translucency, and craftsmanship. So for Jadeite pieces, like for this cabochon, for example, you can see that the color is very strong, has a very nice green color.
Yeah, but it's also very translucent at the same time.
These earrings, they're also a very simple design.
It's actually easier to carry when it's more minimal.
Yeah, exactly. So even for young people like us, it would be easy for us to carry.
So what about this piece? Is there a story behind it?
Oh, this is actually a very rare find because of the articulate and traditional craftsmanship. You can see that the carving here is actually Wufu Li Men, which symbolizes good fortune and longevity.
It's very nice. Oh, I wonder where it does.
Oh, I think he found his way to the Cufflinks area.
Let's go find him.
Yeah.
When it comes to fashion accessories, guys definitely have a lot fewer choices. One of my favorites, definitely cufflinks. You see this pair I'm wearing here? They're blue sapphire. It's got a really nice hue, matches the color of my suit perfectly, and it just enhances my whole look. Now, Belinda, apart from sapphire, are there any other colored stone cufflinks that you'd like to show me?
Oh, absolutely. Let me pull those out for you. So as you can see here, we have one set with ruby and another with emeralds. These are all from a single sale collection. I would love to show you this piece.
Wow.
So in auctions, it is actually very popular to have fancy vivid pink, fancy vivid blue, and fancy red diamonds. And as you can see from this set, that all of these yellow diamonds are actually fancy vivid yellow, which is the highest grading for any color diamonds.
Now, we have looked at a lot of jewelry.
Yeah.
I know you guys also have handbags in this exhibition, right?
Yeah, and it seems like Joyce has found her way over there already.
Of course. Quincy, people collecting handbags as an investment asset, is that a new phenomenon?
Well, it's not that new. I think it has been a few years that people kind of start collecting handbags as an investment. I think it's because the price in the first-hand market as well as in the second-hand market has been increasing tremendously.
And why do you think it's so popular to buy these handbags at auction?
Well, I think first of all, in the auction, we already give the estimate and also the grading. Of course, all the bags here is second-hand, but brand new condition. And some of the bags are so rare that you can only see in the auction.
So for first-time buyers like me, what would you advise us at a handbag auction?
Well, I would suggest you to pay attention to the grading so you know exactly what condition bag you are buying. And also study very hard the catalog so that you're familiar of all the options.
Would you say you have a favorite piece here?
Well, I would say this Himalaya Birkin 25. So look at the beautiful gradation of white to the brown. And it is made of Niloticus crocodile. And the craftsmen use a lot of time to take away all the color pigment and then do the dyeing really by hand. So it's a very gorgeous piece.
Now, you mentioned there's a catalog, right?
Yeah. Joyce, I recommend you bring home, do some study, not only on the choices, but the grading, the estimate, and also the history sales result.
Thank you, Quincy.
You're welcome.
Alex, are there certain brands in the watch market that are kind of blue chips that will always do well at auctions?
In our world, you have the contemporary watches, and then you have the vintage watches, and then you have the antique watches. And within those criteria, you find those blue chips.
Side question, I see this beautiful collection here. What is that?
Yeah, that's absolutely fascinating. In fact, is what we call in French un nécessaire, so things that you need when you're traveling.
It looks like a lighter rather than like a watch.
It does look like a lighter. You're absolutely right. And in fact, the way it pops at the top reminds you of that feeling. So basically you have perfume bottle, and then you have a pen holder, and then you have an ear spoon.
Oh, wow.
And then basically on the sides here, usually you have a secret button that allows you to basically open. So at the back, you could see the watch. You would keep it handy with you, you know, it would fit in your jacket.
And very stylish at the same time,
Very stylish at the same time and very beautiful, and it was a talking piece, you know, so everywhere you go, people were comparing what type of, you know, toys, and this is a really special one.
Between the contemporary modern watches and something that's more classic and vintage, what tends to appeal more to the person who comes to auction?
I think at the beginning you go for contemporary because it feels like you're gonna be able to wear it, it's larger, it feels more in trend, in fashion with what's happening around. But after a while, you feel like experiencing something new. So you want to go back in time and you want to see different objects, such as the example here, which is a watch from 1951. And it gives you a flavor that you cannot get with the contemporary watches.
It's very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
So it's subtle, but then you can blow people away.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. You said it well.
Thank you so much, Alex.
You're welcome. Thank you
you
so much.
Joyce, out of all the items we saw today, what was your favorite?
My favorite would definitely be the Jadeite ring. They say it's very rare to come across old mine Jadeite. It has the perfect shade of green and a very nice translucency to it.
Well, my favorite part about today was the knowledge that Alex shared with me about timepieces, the history of watches, and of course, what makes a watch valuable. And I think that's information that I'll be able to use for a long time. Without a doubt, Hong Kong is a crowded city, but you can choose to live in a neighborhood away from the urban hustle. Step inside the apartment and you're welcomed by a generous space with minimalistic design, which creates a sense of openness for this beautiful abode. With the natural light, the comfort and beauty of your living space will definitely be enhanced.
Wow, the living room feels so spacious and airy with a high ceiling design.
Lena, I'm all about entertaining, and when I see this space, I'm thinking families and friends right here.
Well, whenever I see a home tour, the thing I'm most excited about seeing is the master bedroom.
What are you waiting for? Let's go. For many, the bedroom is the most important space in the house. Whether it's the master bedroom or the kids' room, the combination of functional and beautiful design will create a perfect place for rest. Who hasn't dreamed of living in a penthouse? With your own private staircase, you can access the rooftop terrace and enjoy boundless views anytime you want. An ideal home is all about quality. To live a full life of enjoyment, there's nothing better than creating a home that fits your lifestyle. After the break, savor Japanese food that hangs on the quality of the ingredients. And experience the beauty of bespoke tailoring. As a food that has swept the world over, sushi has come a long way from its humble beginnings. Back in the day, sushi was a kind of fast food served at Japanese traditional food trucks in front of public baths. Over time, it has evolved into an exquisite dish for special occasions. Edomei sushi making in particular has become a tradition that master sushi chefs are proud to pass on from generation to generation.
Sushi is the food that keeps me in endless wonder. They're so beautiful and sophisticated that you want to take pictures of it in different angles and you really want to admire it. But most of all, I want to get eating right now.
Speaking of taking photos, you know that there are some sushi-yas in Japan where the chef doesn't allow you to take any photos because the chef wants you to enjoy the sushi as soon as it's made, making sure that it's the freshest. But ironically speaking, Edomei Sushi actually developed as a way to preserve fish for a longer period of time.
Well, you know what? I think chef is almost done, so let's get started.
Edomei Sushi is the sushi variety from former Japanese capital Edo, so you could argue that Edomei Sushi is the original sushi. The making of the fermented utoro sushi draws on seafood preservation techniques that were widely used during the Edo period before the refrigerator was invented. Here, the chef marinated the utoro and let it age for 2 weeks in a custom-made maturation cabinet. The result is a fatty tuna that delivers a prominent umami flavor. And most special of all, for both the eyes and the palate, the chef sears the tuna with a piece of charcoal to create distinct flavors and aromas. Many of you have probably had tempura before, but few have had shirako tempura. Rich and creamy, it's a great dish for adventurous eaters and sushi enthusiasts. Besides shirako, monkfish liver is another Japanese delicacy that's gaining popularity among foodies around the world.
You know what? Ankimo is actually one of my favorite dishes in omakase. It has a very creamy and silky texture and very rich in flavor. Do you like it?
It's very nice. It's my first time having it. I didn't know which one to eat first. The chef told me that we should eat the left-hand side first, which is the bonito flakes, and then the right-hand side, which is the red wine. So it's first salty and then sweet. Pretty nice, and it's rich in folic acid and vitamins A and B. Can't wait to have more.
There's a growing momentum to re-examine centuries-old Edomei cooking techniques. Sushi masters are always looking for ways to bring out the flavor of seafood. Here, the octopus is soft-boiled, then cooled before being cooked again with radish, creating a delicate texture and mild flavor. Here's another dish that celebrates the art of marinating. After marination, the scabbard fish is charcoal grilled, filling the room with wonderful aromas. And the texture and the taste of the fish go really well with sake. The young sea bream sushi is a traditional sushi that was often eaten in the Edo period. Traditionally, the fish had to be salted, soaked in vinegar, and then wrapped in kelp. This time, the chef marinated the fish in egg yolk vinegar, which brings an elevated umami flavor. With exquisite and exotic ingredients, enjoying the expertly crafted Edomei-style sushi is the kind of omakase experience that one never gets tired of.
Apart from my favorite ankimo, I actually really enjoyed the fermented otoro sushi. Otoro is already melt-in-your-mouth goodness itself. It's fermented, so extra flavorful, and along with the smoky aroma from the binchoten, it's perfect.
The food, of course, it was delicious, but the first thing that caught my attention is once I came into this place, I saw the wooden table. It's made from a 250-year hinoki cypress tree, and it's from the Wakayama Prefecture. I think it feels very warm and cozy and comfortable in here, don't you think?
In 1966, there was a story that talked about how Hong Kong was overtaking the famous London Savile Row as the leading international hub for tailoring. Now, this meant a lot in terms of the level of craftsmanship Hong Kong tailors could offer. Today, Hong Kong tailors are still a well-known attraction for tourists. So what makes Hong Kong tailoring industry so reputable? Well, I'm here to find out.
So why I curate an exhibition in suit, in heavy interviews and also research, is about stories. I heard about some stories from tailors in the old days. They are maybe 70 or 80 years old already, and they still keep on doing, ordering the handmade bespoke shirt for people. Before Hong Kong's reputations, suit tailoring is a very important element. But nowadays, people just think that it's something like sunset industry. I was so upset and I want to do something. I think maybe an exhibition can help.
One of the most important elements of the local bespoke tailoring industry that curator Tinny wants to present through this exhibition is this 8-foot-long tailor's table. It not only symbolizes the spirit and the golden age of local craftsmanship, but also serves as one of the key cultural components of Hong Kong's fashion industry.
Everyone has their own preferences when it comes to suits. Some like them more formal, some like them more casual. But for our local tailors, a suit, especially one that is made in Hong Kong, means a lot more. Now, we often hear people say that a suit is more than just a set of garments. So what does a suit mean to you?
Suit is an armor for business person, professional persons. Definitely, like all different professions have different kind of image. A suit is like an armor for a man when they go out into the business world. It boosts their confidence when they go to see a client, or be it in the office environment, they present himself as a boss, or as a manager, or as according to their positions. Yes.
Now, in your opinion, a suit that is made in Hong Kong, why do you think it would hold its own against even the best tailored suits in the world?
Well, let's talk about in terms of material. The suit we made in Hong Kong, we use the same fabrics as all the famous brands in the world, like in UK or in Italy. In terms of quality and tailoring, I must say we are very compatible with Hong Kong tailoring because of the history that we have from Shanghai. But the most important thing for a tailoring suit, I think, is how to interpret a person in terms of their body shape, and also to make a suit according to the customer's needs. I think this is very, very important. In Hong Kong, we are we're at the par. We can do a suit, and most important thing is the customer to understand it and happy with it.
besides learning the history from the old days, because the suit also tells the history of Hong Kong, the ups and downs, and I would love to, through these exhibitions, to let the people know about how the craftsmanship of Hong Kong and also the history of Hong Kong. And also, I would love this craftsmanship can be passing down generation to generation.
That's all the time we have for this week's episode. To learn more about what you've just watched, please log on to our website. Join us again next week to discover the essence of a sweet life. We'll take you to experience Hong Kong's dynamic dining scene and have a taste of some beautifully crafted dishes that celebrate the art of gastronomy. Stay on top of the latest happenings in town and see the world through the eyes of people from different backgrounds. See you next week. Bye!